Whatever their shape, size, or planet of origin, Silver and his crew are all pirates. And what exactly is a pirate? That's a no-brainer. A pirate is a seagoing robber. And these outlaws of the high seas have been around since ancient times, when they stole grain and olive oil from Roman ships. But I'll bet you didn't know there are different kinds of pirates. For example, privateers were privately owned armed vessels hired by a king or queen. Privateers had royal permission to rob the ships of their enemies. As a reward, they were allowed to share any captured booty. In their own countries, privateers were hailed as heroes, but their victims definitely thought of them as pirates. In 1603, King James I of England canceled the rights of these privateers, and the buccaneers were born. What are buccaneers? Well, have you ever heard of the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yo-ho, yo-ho!
The buccaneers were originally settlers living on the Caribbean islands, and the Spanish wanted them out. The buccaneers banded against the Spanish, at first in self-defense, but soon they started pirating Spanish ports and ships, and before long, they were looting any ship they thought carried valuable cargo. No matter what you call them, these nautical no-goods are bad to the bone.
What are you looking at, weirdo?
Yeah, weirdo.
Remember when Silver and his scurvy space crew hoisted the Jolly Roger in the movie? Where did those way scary pirate flags come from? Back in the day, before radio or Morse code, 17th century sailors depended on flags to identify friendly ships. So, to up the fear factor, pirates flew the flag of a friendly nation. Then, when it was too late for the pirates' victims to escape, those rowdy rogues raised their own flags decorated with symbols of death. As pirates earned a rep for outmatching any opponents, they dropped their false friendly flags and openly paraded with their own horrifying banners. Talk about show-offs. Certain pirate colors kicked things up a notch. If a blood-red flag known as the Red Jack was raised, it meant that the bloodthirsty buccaneers would show no mercy. The black flag, known as the Jolly Roger, sent a warning: do not resist. This terrorized the pirates' victims into surrendering without a fight. There were also lots of different Jolly Roger designs, and lots of the pirates created their own version of the skull and crossbones, each less jolly and more scary than the last. Ever wonder where the term Jolly Roger comes from? Some think it comes from Joli Rouge, French for pretty red, since French ships raised a red flag in an attempt to get their enemies to surrender. Another theory is that the term comes from Old Roger, a nickname for the devil. And let's face it, pirates could be pretty devilish. History gives us a shipload of pirates that seem as out of this world as Captain Flint in Treasure Planet, but were totally real. Let's scoop some stats on some awesomely awful ocean-going outlaws. The son of a Scottish minister, Captain William Kidd, was a respectable privateer until his mutinous crew resorted to piracy. Talk about harsh. Kidd was arrested and given pretty brutal punishment as a warning. Well, consider me warned. Even though his nickname was Black Bart, Captain Bartholomew Roberts didn't always act like a pirate. Something of a gentleman, he drank only tea and even had a chaplain on board his ship. Looking for the ultimate pirate? How about Captain Edward Teach, best known as Blackbeard? This awesome baddie scared even the bravest seagoers. What was his secret? Well, they didn't call him Blackbeard for nothing. The English-born Teach's face was covered with a long black beard, which he braided and tied with bright ribbons. He also freaked out his victims by hiding slow-burning fuses under his hat, so there would be smoke swirling around his face. Some of the vilest of these villains were kind of touchy about what people called them. Sir Henry Morgan commanded the largest buccaneer fleet in the Caribbean in the mid-1600s. When an ex-shipmate wrote about the Welshman's life story, Morgan sued the publishers. Why? You guessed it, he didn't like being referred to as a pirate. Think all pirates were men? Think again. Anne Bonny and Mary Read are the most well-known women to pursue a life of piracy. The Irish-born Bonny fell for pirate captain John Rackham, known as Calico Jack, who convinced her to join him on the high seas. Englishwoman Mary Read was actually raised as a boy. Disguised as a man, she served honorably in both the Army and Navy before her ship was taken by Calico Jack, and she joined his crew. Goes to show you, you didn't have to be a bad guy to be a major pirate player.
Change in plan, lads! We move now!
Like Silver's motley crew, pirates are known for some pretty bad misbehavior. Can you believe that even these extreme villains had rules to follow? These written regulations were called rules of articles or charters. Pirates had to obey these laws or be punished, and the punishments were a lot worse than being grounded. Even captains had to follow these codes. I bet you're wondering where these rules came from. Hard to believe, but they were written by the pirates themselves. At the start of every voyage or on the election of a new captain, a set of written laws was created. Everyone on the ship had to swear that they would follow these laws of pirate life. Wondering exactly what the pirate rules were like? Check out the codes of conduct followed by the crew of Welsh captain Bartholomew Roberts. Boys and women were not allowed aboard ship. It was lights out at 8 o'clock. Here's a real no-brainer. One of the most important rules covered the sharing of captured treasure. But the crew also promised to share food, drink, and other provisions. The pirates even had to promise to keep their pistols and swords clean. Of course, no rules or conduct codes could change the fact that pirates were thieves, villains, and really bad guys. If you were a pirate, you'd have to know what makes a good ship, or you'd be sunk. A good pirate ship had to be fast, both to catch other ships and to get away with the goods. The sloop and the schooner were at the top of the pirates' wish list because of the need for speed. Other freebooter favorites included the brigantine, which could house a crew of 100, mount 10 cannons, and carry twice the cargo of a sloop, and the galleon, a long oar-powered craft. Pirates also used frigates. These super-sized bad boys could weigh as much as 1,000 tons, carry dozens of cannons, hold hundreds of men, and they could demolish anything that dared stand in their way. Since a notorious pirate couldn't exactly sail into a port and custom order a ship, where did buccaneers get their rigs? They captured them, of course. And where did pirates come up with those unreal names for their ships? Names like Adventure, Charles II, or Vengeance. Usually the names they cooked up were about seeking treasure, honoring a king or ruler, or just wanting to sound like seagoing bullies. And what about the name of the ship in the film?
Oh, Jim, this is our ship, the RLS Legacy.
Well, the Treasure Planet filmmakers chose that pirate ship name in honor of the author of the original Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson. Like the booty of 1,000 planets hidden by Captain Flint in the movie, real pirates had their share of treasure. Gold doubloons, pearls, diamonds, and rubies. Isn't that what comes to mind when you think of pirate treasure? But like so many other pirate tales, this is a fish story. Pirates had to eat, so food was considered treasure the same as silver and gold. Silk, sugar and spices, opium, and liquor were other targets of plunder. A captured ship's gear would be snagged, including weapons, ropes, sails, compasses, spyglasses, and sometimes even the masts and the anchor. Medicines, candles, needles, and twine, and even frying pans and kettles. Anything that wasn't nailed down, and even some things that were, was stolen. Think about it. Do you really think greedy pirates would hold on to their loot for long? Treasure was divvied up among the pirates who quickly spent it. Pirates very rarely buried their ill-gotten gain. We have Captain Kidd to thank for the legend of buried riches. People believe that Captain Kidd buried his loot in locales along the east coast of the Americas. Rumor has it that Blackbeard buried his treasure in North Carolina, and the Gulf Coast is a hotbed of legendary treasure, but no one has ever found any of these mythic treasure troves. Like Jim Hawkins and Silver in the movie, modern treasure hunters have set their sights on outer space. Recently, a space exploration company was formed to dig up the treasure in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It's estimated that there are enough raw materials there to maintain a human population 1 million times the size of Earth. Platinum, gold, cobalt, and the most precious commodity, water, are among the elements that will eventually be mined by devices anchored to the asteroid's surface. Now that's really pushing the treasure hunting envelope. But instead of pirates just looking out for themselves, this treasure is being hunted by an international group of scientists and explorers, all working together.